All right. I'm back with another live stream. It was a big wrestling weekend, lots of WWE shows, lots of AEW shows. I've already covered the WWE shows. I did a live stream yesterday covering, uh, what was it? Great American Bash, Saturday night's main event, and Evolution. So if you guys missed any of that, want to hear our thoughts, you can go over to our YouTube page on the live streams tab, and that one is the most recent one as of right now. But otherwise, yeah, AEW, they did their thing too. They had a big weekend. WWE put a lot of shows opposed to it, I guess to bother them and take viewers away. I'm not really sure what the thinking is there. It was an obvious ploy, though, to mess with AEW. And, but AEW, I think, deserves some attention this weekend. So I didn't want to just gloss over a lot of their stuff. I wanted to actually spend some time, and because they gave a lot of effort to this weekend, man. There was a lot of wrestling, and they really saved everything for this point because on Collision and Dynamite there was like nothing. So this was a big show. It was in a big stadium, and on Friday night they had their Ring of Honor pay-per-view too. So I'm gonna actually go through everything that happened step by step. If there's anything that I think should be glossed over, I'll gloss over it. If I think I should stop and give it some attention, that's how we'll handle things today. I'm giving out points. I'm trying to give a good score here today to AEW, so I'm not gonna be harsh on them, but I'm trying to have a good time with this. So today, I don't want this to be a super long show because AEW All In was 6 hours, so I'm splitting my All In review into two parts, and the next part will come out tomorrow before Dynamite hits the air, so watch out for that. But yeah, so we'll cover Ring of Honor, SuperCard of Honor right now, and then we'll do some of AEW All In, like the first half, and then we'll say goodbye for the day. But okay, let's see what we got first. This is the 0 hour, so this is not even the SuperCard of Honor show. This is the pre-show. So let's see who got on the pre-show, or who got demoted, I would say, to the pre-show. Couldn't even make the main card here. Blake Christian, oh man, he's with Lee Moriarty, so he's on the pre-show today. He's facing off against Jay Lethal. Okay, all right. Let's see, I got a spot here. Is it a through the rope spot for Blake Christian?
But it leaves the door open.
All right, hold on one second. Let me turn off the volume on this. This is a podcast for me today, but yeah, I got Blake Christian on a through the middle rope. Damn, that looked fucking good. I want to see that again. Shit. Should I slow motion it right here? How the heck did they do that? Man, I gotta give out some points there. Let's give out at least a half a point for that through the middle rope dive on this pre-show. Getting the weekend started hot here. Blake Christian, I like the guy. There he is. Yeah, he's pretty proud of himself. Vanilla Ice. But okay, let's see. I got another spot. This is the finish. So interference from Lee Johnson. So here's Lee Johnson as Jay Lethal goes to the top rope. Jay Lethal kicks him off, and that was enough of a distraction where Blake Christian can hit a suplex off the top rope and turn it into a submission move, and that's the end of the match right there. Blake Christian picks up the win over Jay Lethal. All right, match overall, I'll give it a half thumbs up. It did its job. It was supposed to put Blake Christian over, and he's the guy nowadays in Ring of Honor and gets some time in AEW. Jay Lethal gets nothing, so basically he did a job here today. How sad, but that's what Tony Khan uses him for. That's the only thing he could think of to use him for at this point, which is weird to me because when Ring of Honor, I think they were trying to do like a reboot last October around that time, and they had this one scene where Jay Lethal was signing a contract with Ring of Honor, with Big Show was there, and they made it seem like important, like they were going to try to insert him into something, TV title, world title picture in Ring of Honor. Why not? He's not doing anything. And then since, it's been nothing. I mean, he had a couple matches, I think, where they were trying to, start a push, and then it just stopped. So I don't know what the deal is there. I'm sure there's some kind of drama. So today he got on the card and he got a paycheck, and he put Blake Christian over. Okay, so let's move on to the next segment on this show. We had a video package It's for the feud concerning the Frat House and Dark Order, and that also was our next match. So this also on the pre-card, on the pre-show card, a very prevalent feud on Ring of Honor television. Preston Vance, who used to be in the Dark Order, left and started his own group, the Frat House, and they've been feuding nasty. Check out my Ring of Honor reviews of recent weeks if you want to see the whole story. But yeah, it has to do mostly with the fact that Preston Vance has been an asshole to them since he left the Dark Order, and he's just an arrogant drunk now, has a bunch of drunk frat boy party friends. And so let's see if we got any spots here today. I think there's an Alex Reynolds spot that I kind of liked. I think he's going over the top rope here. Yep, there you go. Ha! That was nice. That was cool. All right, I'm going to throw another half point in there. I'm not a big over-the-top rope kind of guy, but when it looks good, I'll give it up. They risk themselves to do it, so fine. All right, so here's an interference spot. It's Jack Jameson saving his boys from certain defeat. I've forwarded into this match. There's Jack Jameson pulling the referee out. He gets ejected, so he does get ejected by the ref there. Vance, that gives the ejection and the distraction here as Jack Jameson is yelling at the referee, gives Preston Vance to pull out the paddle they use to, I guess, hit the pledges that try to join their group. So he grabs that paddle and he nails Evil Uno, but that is not the finish, because the finish is a surprise as Preston Vance tries to get ready to hit his finishing move. -1 comes out. Brody Lee's son, Brody Lee's kid, who, when Brody Lee passed away, he was a part of the show. He was much younger. He was like 10 years old or something, so he looks a little bigger now. It's kind of funny. I don't know, this was a nice little spot. It wasn't serious. Brody Lee Jr., he was smiling the whole time, so I think he's friends with Preston Vance, so he was just kind of giggly to run an angle with him. But it was kind of sweet. What can I say? So he goes in there, he's like, "What are you doing, Preston?" And that's enough of a distraction that Dark Order surrounds Preston Vance, and that leads to a series of moves for Dark Order to win the match against Preston Vance and the Frat House. So there you go. Then the Dark Order celebrate with -1. How heartwarming. How heartwarming. I'll give another half thumbs up. For Brody Lee Jr. Okay, I'm moving on to the next storyline, though. I'm still on the pre-show. Let's see, there was an in-arena promo, in-arena, on the entrance ramp. This is MXM TV, as they call themselves now. It's a combination of MXM Collection, Mason Madden, and Mansoor, with Johnny TV and Taya Valkyrie, who they've been seemingly dating, swapping spit on the show. But they try to do some double entendre here. They all got to cut promos. I didn't really listen that closely, but I think the main point of this was they released a fragrance called Seed. It's like a perfume, because he was making fun of the audience about how bad they smell. So Seed, perfume, and cologne. I'm not sure if it's a cologne or perfume, whatever, but the catchphrase is Seed, let it grow inside of you. So that's their new thing. Let it grow inside of you. Am I going to give any points for this sexual double entendre? No, not today. 0 points for the MXM Collection. I'm sorry. This is interesting. I don't know. They don't even really get to cut promos like this on Ring of Honor. Maybe they should, because that's where this should be. But okay, it was on the pre-show. Nonetheless, we got another match coming up next. It's Lady Frost against Diamante. So I like Lady Frost. I'm a big fan. Huge Lady Frost fan, I will tell you. I would be stoked to meet her if I saw her. I'd be like geeked out, like, holy shit, it's Lady Frost. Oh my god. But anyways, Diamante. What do we have to say about Diamante? She was a minion for a few weeks in Athena's group, and then that was another forgotten storyline. It looked like Billy Starks was going to get promoted to the main roster on AEW television, and then Diamante was like a protege of Athena's, and then they just forgot about it. So they cut that storyline off. No explanation. Here she is just having a match against Lady Frost. Not a bad booking, but still, I question why the storyline got cut off. There's no continuity there for this one, so no reasoning why she's just here by herself. But okay, here she is. Billy Starks. It looks like they brought her back to be with Athena, so I assume the thing with Diamante is over. But okay, let's skip to the finish on this one. Uh, Diamante yells out, "Nah, bitch," which got a little pop from the crowd, and then a twisting vice lock pile driver, as Ian Riccaboni called it, off the top rope into the mat, and Diamante picks up the win. So I'll throw a half thumbs up for this match. Not a bad match. Not a bad match. I don't know. I'm kind of sad that Lady Frost took the loss here. I think she should be getting some kind of push. It seemed like they were starting to give her some kind of push when they were playing clips of her in Mexico, and she did some shows in Mexico. She got back. They were trying to play her up. They had some video packages for her. Nothing for Diamante. But okay, Tony Khan booked it this way today, so Diamante picks up the win. Next, we got a replay from the night before. It was Mark Sterling taking a Shattered Dreams from Dustin Rhodes, which has happened a couple times, but this was a spot they've been running with the premier athletes the Sons of Texas have been doing. But here's Mark Sterling. He comes out to cut a pre-match promo for their match. So this is the next match. We're still on the pre-show card, so lots of matches today. And the premier athletes are facing off against the Von Erichs. So this does have to do with the Sons of Texas feud. I'll just go through a few spots on this. Try to give the audience a good time with this tag team match. Mark Sterling is distracting for his boys here, and there was a magic carpet ride by Daivari, Ari Daivari. So this is kind of a stereotypical thing because he's Arabic, I guess. So he's got a magic carpet. So Mark Sterling is over there on the left, distracting, and Daivari's got a magic carpet over here, and he's going to fly with the magic carpet. You know, I gotta give that a point, man. That's ridiculous. Let's see it again. Let's see it again. Come on. That's too silly. I skipped a bunch, but in the end, Mark Sterling takes the claw, and then a moonsault gives the Von Erichs the win. But for this match, no points for me. I'm not very into premier athletes, but I did give that spot, the magic carpet spot, something. So that was surprising to me, and I thought that was amusing. That's all I'll say about that. All right, next we cut to the parking lot, and who's showing up? Oh, it's the infantry. So Shane Taylor is waiting for the rest of his Shane Taylor Promotions crew, and he's motivating the infantry with money. Because he's like, and they're like, let's go party. He's like, nah, wait till we take care of business tonight, because the infantry are in a tag team title match for the world title against the Sons of Texas. So that's how the pre-show ends, and we head to the show. So, all right, I already got 3.5 points on the board for Ring of Honor, and the show hasn't even started yet. Not bad, but I'm going to skip to the main show now, finally. All right, we got our first match. It's the first match on the main card. It's Hechicero, who has the best theme song in wrestling, in my opinion. And he's facing off against Michael Oku, who is the Rev Pro British champion. So he is an indie wrestler, but a highly regarded one. And he has a girlfriend, I guess, Amira, who helps him. So she's there cheering him on throughout this match, this opening match between Hechicero and Michael Oku. There you see Amira again. It's very new to us, Amira, so I'm showing images of her. Why not learn about these new characters? Hopefully they'll be on the show. I like Michael Oku. Here's a spot. Let's see what we got. There you go. Over the top rope. That looked good. Why not throw a half a point in there? Let's see. This is a spot the crowd popped for. This was Hechicero putting a submission move on Michael Oku, and when he wrenched it back, the crowd was like, "Oh!" And then he twists the leg. Not bad, not bad. You know what? I'll give that spot another half a point. That was pretty solid. Not a bad match to open the show. But here's the finish. It's a spike flying head scissors by Michael Oku onto. Oh no, by Hechicero. I'm sorry. Hechicero actually wins this match. Wow, did you see that move? That was cool. Let's play it again. I might have to slow motion that because I've never seen that before. Wow. A spiked flying head scissor. So Hechicero gets his big body up to Michael Oku's head and then spikes him on the ground with a head scissors. Nice. Man, I'm going to give a point. I'm going to give a whole point for that finish. And they made it the finish. So there you go. Hechicero with the win for Don Callis family, it seems, as Rocky Romero is his homeboy, who is also in Don Callis family. So there you go. All right, that was the opening match. For the match itself, I'll give it a half point. I'm being nice today. They tried. Hechicero looked good. I like him. I hope they give him an actual push. Actually, they will. We'll see later in the show. So this made sense that they put him on the show and put him over. You'll see later on why, all the way at the last second of the show. So that's a tease for later. Next up, we got a four-way for $50,000 cash. Atlantis Jr., Lee Johnson, Adam Priest, who they've featured a little bit on the show lately. He's been a heel. And AR Fox. All right, so let's see. Let's see if we got any high spots on this one. Blake Christian is here with Lee Johnson. Adam Priest also came in. But Blake Christian only comes this far. Lee Johnson is on his own, which I don't really understand why Blake Christian wouldn't just go with him. It seems like they've turned face recently because he could just come in and cheat. It's a four-way, but he didn't. So here's Atlantis Jr. and AR Fox. So let's see what the spots are here. AR Fox, nice one there. Backflip off the ring post. Got to give some points to AR Fox where it matters. Here's another one. The camera misses Atlantis Jr.'s dive, but I'll still give a half point because it looks pretty sweet. Here, I'll play it again. Let's try to get. You just see the end of it, the very tip of him going over the top rope and landing. Didn't even catch the landing. Damn. But still, gets a half point from me. All right, let's see. Moving on. Here's another spot. Looks like Lee Johnson. Damn, what the hell? What? Dude, we got to play that again. See, this was crazy. Lee Johnson jumps over the top rope, gets AR Fox in a head scissors, and flings him off the apron. Nice, nice. We got to give out points. We got to give out points. This is for money, though. This is for $50K. AR Fox with the win. Okay, I skipped a lot of the match, but overall, I'm going to give the match no points, honestly. AR Fox gets the win. He gets some money, but I'm an indifferent for a match for $50,000. Come on, TK. I like the spots in the show, but this didn't really have any meaning for me, so. Next, we had a video package. It's Blue Panther, I think. Hold on, let me check for sure. Yes, I'm right. I was just making sure it wasn't Blue Panther Jr., but it's Blue Panther, and for all you Ring of Honor fans out there, you know he defeated Lee Moriarty in a match at the last pay-per-view, so he's been owed a title match. Oh, it wasn't a pay-per-view, it was a special show. It was called Global Wars a few weeks ago. So Blue Panther has been owed a pure title match since then. So this is the match. Here's Blue Panther. Here's Lee Moriarty with Shane Taylor of Shane Taylor Promotions. Lee Moriarty jacked up for this match, so he's ready. They do the Ring of Honor Code of Honor, as you see, shake hands. And here's a spot. Later in the match, Blue Panther has used up all his rope breaks, so no more rope breaks for Blue Panther. He's used up all three of them in this pure rules match, but I will give a half point for this dive onto Lee Moriarty because he's just a big guy and Lee Moriarty caught him. So I'll play it again because gotta give Blue Panther some love with that big belly doing a dive off the apron. But yeah, so here's the finish. No more rope breaks, and Blue Panther gets to the ropes, but there's no more rope breaks, so he taps out. And that's the end. Lee Moriarty actually shows him respect, even though he's technically a heel. They do shake hands, and that's that. Do I care about this match? Do I care about this booking? Honestly, I gotta say no. I'm at a 0 indifferent on this one, so I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I don't think this union between CMLL and AEW has really been that hot to me. None of these guys are really showing any personality on the show. They're just doing matches, so if that's all they're gonna do, I'm a storyline guy. I need storylines. I need reasons to get excited for a match. But if that's all what they want to do, then fine. Fine with me. All right. Let's see what we got next. We got a video package for the Infantry against the Sons of Texas. So this is a big match. It's a world title match for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. And there was a silly video package for the Sons of Texas, who are Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes. But we got Satnam Singh, we got Matt Menard, Daddy Magic, and Aaron Solo are in Sammy Guevara's Superman video where he's pretending to be Superman. But Dustin catches him on a green screen and thinks he's goofing off. And Sammy says he's got something for him, and Dustin doesn't want to do it. He knows what it is. It's probably something of a Superman getup. And Sammy's like, no, we're going to do this. We're going to the ring as Superman. So that was the big joke for their pre-match video package. And there they are. There's Superman. I'm not giving any points for that package, though. A little silly, but at least they did something. All right, I'm moving on in the match. Here's a Trish Adora interference spot. And she just slaps Dustin Rhodes and runs out of the ring. So she did get involved. But I'm moving on with the match. That obviously wasn't the finish. Here's a spot. Another interference spot. Trish Adora runs interference for Shane Taylor. This is not the finish, but sorry. Here's Trish on the left, distracting the ref, while Shane Taylor nails Dustin Rhodes with the belt. Sorry, I'll play that again. I didn't show it well. All right, here's Trish Adora on the left, and Shane Taylor is over there on the right. So Dustin Rhodes nailed with the title belt by Shane Taylor, but that still wasn't the finish. Here's another spot that I'm going to play. Here's a Sammy Guevara dive out of the ring. Backflip moonsault. Should I give a half point for that one? Yeah, it looked nice. That was nice. Here, but a swanton for the win. So Sammy Guevara and the Sons of Texas retain. Not really going to give any points for that match. I think it was probably time to give the title to Shane Taylor Promotions and the Infantry. But I don't know. Sammy Guevara and Dustin retain. I don't like the booking. I think that's why this kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. But as they're celebrating, there is an afterbirth. So Shane Taylor attacks Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes, and enter Anthony Ogogo. I don't know if anyone remembers him, but it looks like he's kind of joining this group or hanging out with them or something. And he's going to nail Dustin as they hold Dustin, the Infantry does. But some music hits, and it's the Von Erichs, so the rest of the Sons of Texas group, I guess, they come in. And they save the day, so there's the Sons of Texas, all of them together. Shane Taylor Promotions powder out, but this turns into Dustin grabs the mic and he challenges Shane Taylor Promotions to a match for the All-In pre-show. So we'll get to that a little later on. This feud is not over. This feud is not over, but okay. I'm not so excited about them being on the pre-show, to be honest, but we will cover that later on. Next up, we got a match. It's Titan. This is a TV title match. He's facing off against the TV champion, Nick Wayne. No code of honor, or you might consider this a code of honor. I don't know. He kind of just slapped his hand. I'm not really sure if that is a code of honor, but let's see. Actually, he does no code of honor. Yep. Sorry. I'm mixing that up with another match. He slapped, that was another match, but he spit in his face. Sorry. Nick Wayne, man, come on, the disrespect, man. What the fuck? Slime bag kid. I gotta give a thumbs down for this one. Take off a point for the spit. No spitting in wrestling. Come on. But all right, so we got some spots. This is a TV title match. Let's see how they impressed us here. Titan on the top rope. Stomp. Damn, that looked good. That looked like a good stomp. I'm giving that a half a point. I got another spot here. Titan, it looks like he's going to dive over the top rope. All right, nice dive, nice dive, nice catch. Another half a point. Let's go. Let's go. Ring of Honor. All right, here's some interference. Nick Wayne's mother helps him get the foot on the rope, and she gets caught. So the referee totally sees it, and she is ejected. So she's pissed off about it. She's arguing, but she leaves nonetheless. Nick Wayne doesn't know what he's going to do without his mother. It's a submission move, but Nick Wayne gets to the rope. So Nick Wayne is still in this. And here's the next interference spot. It's the next member of the patriarchy, Kip Sabian. So he knocks Titan off the top rope, and that will lead to a Wayne's World. And that was a false finish, but he finishes it off with a brain buster and wins the match. A hard-fought match. He needed help, but Nick Wayne pulls it off. The sign, I'll give a half a point for the sign in the back. Nick fucking Wayne. Nick fucking Wayne is right, bro. Who's going to step up to Nick Wayne next? The television champion, carrying that TV title. But okay, match overall, I'll throw it a half a point. I thought it was an enjoyable match. Why not? Next up, Christian. Oh, this is a post-match. So post-match, Christian comes out and he hugs his son, but nothing happens there really. All right, next we got a backstage interview. Here's news. It's Red Velvet. She's kind of sad, but she can't defend the title tonight, so they're going to crown an interim TV champion on the women's side, and I guess they will face off against Red Velvet whenever Red Velvet comes back to unify the title. So they've done this before on AEW and such, but here's the four-way for tonight. It's Yamashita, Yuka Sakazaki, Persephone, and Mina Shirakawa. So they will become, one of those four women will become the interim TV champion. Here's Red Velvet. Here's Miyu Yamashita, Yuka Sakazaki, Persephone, and Mina Shirakawa. So Red Velvet is watching from ringside. And she let's see, we got some spots here. I'm going to skip into the finish. I guess the finish is Mina Shirakawa taps out Yamashita. So Yamashita taps out to Mina. And Mina is your new TV champion. So I don't know. I'm not giving any points here. I really don't have much to say about it, other than the fact that I guess, if anything, it should have been Mina out of the four. Maybe they should have just relinquished the title, though. I'm not so excited for a champion versus champion match, Mina Shirakawa versus Red Velvet, but they want to put Mina to work. She wants the title. Fuck it. There you go. So that's the tease. Mina versus Red Velvet. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to Ring of Honor for this amazing matchup coming up. But I'm moving on from this one. Shuri. Shuri is coming to the United States. So we'll see her later on in the AEW Gauntlet for the Gold. But they had a video package for her here. Next video package is for the Women's World Title match. So it's Athena, it's Thunder Rosa, and the match is starting. So this is the semi-main event. We still got the men's title match, but let's go over what happened between Thunder Rosa and Athena. Here's Athena. She comes out with Billy Starks. You see, no Diamante. And this is Billy Starks' only role for the evening. So an awkward code of honor. Athena kind of gave the back of her hand, and Thunder Rosa shook it, I guess. Whatever. Not real respect. Not too much respect shown. But this is a feud that's been carrying on for weeks. They've been facing off in various tag matches and such. But here we are. The big show is here. So the Women's World Title on the line. Thunder Rosa, former AEW champion. She showed a lot of fighting spirit after getting driven into the ring post. She was fucked up, but she, brought out that determination that we all know Thunder Rosa for. And later, Athena actually tries to leave, so she gives the middle finger, and it's like, I'm out of here, trying to take the title with her. And as Thunder Rosa chases her, here's Billy Starkz getting involved. First time, the referee is talking to Athena, and Thunder Rosa gets nailed by Billy Starkz. But Billy Starkz is thwarted. Thunder Rosa goes up the ramp trying to catch up to Athena, and here's a spot through a table that they have by the side of the entrance ramp. So that was a nice spot. That was actually a high-profile spot. I'm giving that a thumbs up. Let's play that again. Jesus. Okay. The women. Here's the women's title picture, putting in some work. I got another spot. So Thunder Rosa uses the refs here. She's about to stop the fight, but she literally uses him to get up. She's like, no, don't stop the fight. So Thunder Rosa is fighting hard here. She's fighting hard. And here's the finish. Rosa kicks out of this. Powerbomb off the top rope. But we got a submission that Thunder Rosa has to tap out to. And valiant effort for Thunder Rosa, but the forever champion is still the champion. Athena retains. And we'll see later on, she's actually involved in more stuff when the AEW shit comes on, so I'll save that for later. But for this match, you know what? I'm going to give it a thumbs up. The whole match as a whole, solid matchup. Solid matchup. Thunder Rosa didn't look bad. Didn't look bad. That's no shame. No shame in losing to Athena. But next is the video package for the main event. It's Bandito. It's Takeshita. Let's get on with it. Takeshita's here with Don Callis of the Don Callis family. Don Callis joins commentary, and here's Bandito. He's got a really cool mask on today. And Code of Honor. Okay. Or this was the one where I got confused earlier, where I thought this was the other match, but this is where Takeshita kind of just slaps his hand away or slaps him. I don't know. I don't know if you consider that a Code of Honor. Slightly disrespectful Code of Honor. There's Don Callis on commentary. We got some spots. Let's see what we got on this match. All right, here's Bandito with what was called a tornillo off the top rope. Nice little move. Nice little move. I'm going to throw half point for the main event here. Let's see what we got next. Here's Takeshita trying to take off Bandito's mask. So being a heel, this Don Callis family roots coming out. Don Callis is laughing about this. He finally gets up to join the match at ringside. He's there to support his guy. Takeshita gets a chair, and he's about to nail Bandito with it. Bandito ducks out of the way, so no DQ there. But these guys got evil intentions on the mind, Takeshita and Don Callis do. So Bandito's busted open. We could see it through the mask. Looks pretty cool. So they're fighting on the entrance ramp, and Bandito dramatically beats the count here as he struggles to get to the ring, but he's showing fighting determination. Here's another spot. I think it's Bandito going over the top rope, it seems. Yup, definitely is. Beautiful over the top rope dive. We got to give another half point there. Let's see. You can see the determination on Bandito's face. You could totally see it there. Do you see the determination on Bandito's face? Are you looking at this picture? I'm being sarcastic because I usually am against wrestlers wearing masks, because how are you supposed to relate to them when you can't really see? But on this one, I guess you could see his eyes a little bit. But here's a funny spot with Don Callis getting flicked off by people in the audience. Yeah, well, let's give that guy in the crowd a half a thumbs up just for being there. Thank you for giving Don Callis the middle finger. We appreciate it. Here's another spot. Let's play this one. It's over the top rope. After Takeshita kicks out of a Bandito finisher, this is a moonsault slam, but Takeshita also kicks out of this one. Damn. Okay. So Takeshita had already kicked out of a Bandito finisher, then took that moonsault slam. Takeshita's fucked up. This is a tough match. But this is my favorite spot of the match. This one I might actually play as...
Fire! Got it! Knee to the skull!
So the crowd popped huge for that one as Bandito kicks out at 1. After all the damage he's taken, the crowd just was like, what the fuck? Their minds were blown. I'm giving that 2 points on my review today. That was an excellent spot. But here's the finish. So Takeshita tries to take him up for a move again and gets rolled up, basically. So that's how Bandito steals the match and retains. I was very surprised at this booking. I will say, I still like the match. I'll give it a thumbs up overall for the main event. But I'm surprised that Don Callis family didn't pick up that Ring of Honor World title. Takeshita took the loss. I don't know. I think it was a good practice for him to show that he could be the losing heel in a main event match if they wanted to do that for him on AEW. He's definitely ready for it, but I still thought this was time for him to win. But regardless, we got Bandito's next challenger stepping up right at the end of the show. As I mentioned, he's the guy who was the first match of the show, Hechicero. So it looks like Hechicero is going to aim for Bandito's Ring of Honor World title. And Takeshita, I don't know if he will carry on with that, but we will see a little bit of Takeshita and Bandito later on, actually, at the All-In Casino Gauntlet match. But all right, that'll be all for this review of Ring of Honor, SuperCard of Honor. 16 points. There was a lot of spots. They worked hard to pick up these points. Lots of high spots, dangerous-looking moves. But they wowed the crowd, and they entertained them. So that was a fun way to start the weekend for Ring of Honor and AEW. But let's move on to the main event. So they got the big stadium show in All In, Texas. I'm going to take a little break, and I'm going to come back and review the first half of All In. And tomorrow we'll get to the next half. So here we go. All right, we're here at All In Texas. We're going to start with the pre-show. We got to reset our score. 16 points Ring of Honor, SuperCard of Honor got for me. Let's see if AEW can beat that at All In. I'm pretty sure they will. It's a 6-hour show, so a lot of chances to pick up points. That also means lots of chances to lose points. But I assume they're going to go all out today, no pun intended, for this stadium show. So let's see what they got. What do we got on the pre-show, just so we feel like we're not missing anything. But there was a video package where Renee referred to Moxley as her husband, went for a ride with him, and recorded it. So there was a big conversation there. Lots of stuff about Moxley and the youngsters, you know, that we all know about. And I'm going to not really cover it too much, honestly. I'm not giving any points for this little thing. It is awkward that throughout the show, Renee doesn't really refer to Moxley as her husband, but for this one segment they do, and it's supposed to be a big deal. I don't know. This is not how I would have revealed this or introduced this, but okay. Moving on, Chris Statlander also had a sit-down interview about the Casino Gauntlet with RJ City, and she didn't really want to answer many questions. Nothing about Willow, nothing about the Death Riders, so she just kind of skirted questions and dismissed them, and that's that. So no points for me on this one. Just a pre-show interview, nothing really hot here. Next, we had an announcement. Okay, so this was a sad announcement, I guess, for Adam Cole. As we'll see later on, he's not going to make it to his match against Kyle Fletcher tonight. He's being replaced because he's just not medically cleared, and as far as we know, he might actually retire. So when the match comes up in a little bit, I'm going to show you what happened. But for right now, we'll just leave it at that. There's an announcement. Something happened with the TNT title. Kyle Fletcher's remaining in the match, so he was the original #1 contender. This is disappointing because they've actually put in a effort to have a feud between Adam Cole and Kyle Fletcher, and they were looking to have a good match. Adam Cole probably thought he couldn't do that amazing 5-star match that they wanted to do. That's probably why he backed out, I'm guessing. But in its place, it's a 4-way. Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes, the Sons of Texas, both of them. So interesting. They just had a match on Ring of Honor, and they're going to have a match again right now on the pre-show. So now that this is announced, you would think they would have taken them off the pre-show, but they're going to go through with their match with Shane Taylor Promotions. And Daniel Garcia, who's the previous TNT champion and always in the mix, he lost the #1 contenders match to Kyle Fletcher, so he's in there too. All right, we'll talk about that more when we get to that match. But there's a video package here for Mark Briscoe, which is always nice. Always nice to get to know Mark Briscoe as a dude. He's a cool dude, so this is the first thing on the pre-show that I found interesting. And Josh Matthews from WWE. Looks like he's working for AEW now. That's an interesting development. And he's backstage with a pre-recorded segment, an interview with Swerve and Ospreay. So this was done on Wednesday, but they're playing it here. And basically, Ospreay tells Swerve, look, I got you into this. If we lose, I'm going to make it up to you, because they can't challenge for the title for a year if they lose. So they're trying to oust the Young Bucks as the executive vice presidents. And Swerve tells him, nah, man, don't worry. You know, I accepted the challenge, so we're in this together, basically. So Josh Matthews does ask a hard-hitting question, though, for a new reporter. He asks if they feel like they owe the Young Bucks something, because, you know, they are basically the founders of this company, and without them, nobody would be making all this money if they didn't convince Tony Khan to start this mess. So Swerve is like, yeah, we have respect for their talent, but personally, nah. So that's basically the gist of what happened there. So for this segment, I'm going to throw another half a point. At least we know what their mentality is heading to the match. It was a good little segment for that, but I'm going to move on. So we got our first match. So like I said, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy have been inserted into the TNT title match, but yet they're in a feud with Shane Taylor Promotions from the night before. Shane Taylor Promotions lost the match. They tried to beat down the Sons of Texas afterwards, and they got thwarted by the Von Erichs, so that turned into a 4-on-4 match. Here's everybody. The Von Erichs over here, Dustin and Sammy over here. So double duties for Dustin and Sammy today. Very important match. And we also got Kerry Von Erich, so he's a legend. And he uses the claw. I don't know. I mean, I always thought the claw was a weird move to get behind. I know it captured a region in the United States. It was a very big local thing. But if people say, like, oh, wrestling didn't used to be phony and fake, and they used to actually work well and fool the audience, like, how could you fool the audience with that? But I don't know. I just wasn't there. So I didn't feel the magic of it. What do you want me to say? But he is going to put the claw on somebody later on today here. Anthony Ogogo, namely. But whatever. Here's a spot for Sean Dean. Captain Sean Dean going over the top rope to start the pre-show. There you go. Get the audience a little lubed up for what's to come. Probably lots of top rope dives. I got to give a half point when I see a nice one like that. And here's Anthony Ogogo, as I mentioned earlier. He's going to looks like he's looking to be in with Shane Taylor Promotions, excuse me. Looks like Ogogo is trying to join Shane Taylor Promotions. And here he is talking shit to Kerry Von Erich, who is backed up by two of the Rhodes family kids. I don't know who they're the son of. Cody. This one looks like Cody, but their names are Wyatt and Wayne Rhodes. So they back up Kerry Von Erich here. And later in the match, I skipped a lot of this, but Kerry is in there with Ogogo, who is looking to interfere as everyone has the claw. Sammy's got the claw on over here. Dustin's got the claw on. And then Kerry Von Erich actually puts the claw on Anthony Ogogo, too. And there it is. It's a silly looking move. But it got a little pop from the crowd. Not really a big one. It's the pre-show. No one's really watching the show yet. But yeah, that's it. So, Sons of Texas with the win there. Good for them. Good for them. Do I give any points out for this match? Not really. It didn't really emphasize Shane Taylor Promotions to my liking. I think they're a group with high potential that could really carry Ring of Honor, but they haven't really pushed them well enough. And, you know, I don't know. I wasn't really a big fan of the gimmick ending. It was kind of silly. I thought it was very dismissive of the Shane Taylor Promotions. And they probably should have canceled the match if Dustin and Sammy were going to be in a big match later. So that didn't really make much sense to me. So no points here for me. All right, we're moving on to the next match. We're still on the pre-show. This is the Don Callis family. It looks like Lance Archer, Rocky Romero, Trent, and Hechicero. And they're teaming up against a group of baby faces, the Conglomeration, which is O'Reilly, Hologram, Ishii over here on this side, and Big Boom AJ and his son and the Rizzler are accompanying them. So these guys are celebrities. This is the best celebrities they can get for this big show. Big Boom AJ. But he's actually practiced his wrestling. He did all right in this match. I will cover this match. As much as it pains me to, I will review some spots as Rocky Romero gets in Big Boom Justice's face, and actually pushes him. You know what? I think he gives him a pie face. No, Trent does. Trent pushes him to the ground. So that causes a stir. Big Boom AJ, his dad, is pissed off. So that was a decent spot, you know. I'll give a half point for Big Boom Justice here. Fuck it. I'm trying to have a good time with this show today. Here's a bad through the middle rope dive from Hologram. I've seen some good ones recently, but this one, he he catches his foot on the rope and he doesn't. What's his name has to catch him. Hechicero. I guess I'll show him going through the rope in slow motion. His leg gets caught and he falls head first into Hechicero, who tries to catch him. He does his best, but you know what? When something's bad, it's just bad. I gotta take off a point for my all-in review thanks to Hologram. But I'm moving on. Here's a spot. Here's AJ, as I said, you know, putting in some work. He didn't look too bad. Stepping up to Lance Archer. Let's see. He actually throws Rocky Romero over the top rope. He's a strong dude. You know, he did some work to make this match serviceable. He was serviceable today. Here's Hologram. He's getting some points back for his team as over the top rope. Moonsault. Not a moonsault, but I'm still going to give a half point for Hologram right there. Throwing his body into harm's way. But Big Boom Justice does get his revenge on Trent with the spear. So they get the kid involved. And the faces win. So there you go. Everybody's happy. Do I dig the match? No. I gave something to a spot, I think, but this is nothing for me. I can't give any points to this, unfortunately. But let's move on with the pre-show. We got FTR coming out with Stokely. What the hell is Stokely wearing? It's like a black leather karate outfit or something? I have no idea. So they're facing off against the Outrunners. This has been an ongoing feud. Their second match. FTR won the first one. This is the rematch. So here's a spot that Dax Harwood's trying to heal it up on the outside. He grabs somebody's glasses and makes fun of them. Gives it back to them, though. Gave the crowd a little thrill. I thought that was an interesting spot that he tried. But no points, though. It wasn't really very heelish. He was kind of nice still. But anyways, here's another spot. As the ref pushes back Cash, because Cash is getting in the ref's face. And the ref pushes him back. And that makes Stokely pissed off. So Stokely gets on the apron to complain about it. So the ref misses an Outrunners tag. So he didn't see this. And the Outrunners hit their finish later on, and here's the first interference. So Stokely saves the match for FTR, pulls Turbo Floyd off the pinfall, and no disqualification though. So I don't know why they didn't call it DQ. And Turbo Floyd is stalking Stokely on the outside, chases Stokely around the ring, even grabs him. So this is a spot. This is a spot for Stokely. Not bad. I'm gonna throw a half a point for Stokely actually doing some decent heel managing here, and that leads to a pinfall as Dax rolls up Turbo Floyd and gets his foot on the rope for leverage, and everyone grabs Dax's leg for the leverage, meaning Stokely and Cash. So this was a great cheating spot. That was hilarious. I'm gonna give that spot a point. That spot deserves a whole point. Never seen that, but that was a very good heel move from FTR, and FTR pick up a win, another win over the Outrunners. So there you go. That's how they ended the pre-show. I mean, that was a decent spot for FTR. I mean, they didn't get on the main show, but the pre-show spot leading right into All In or right into a pay-per-view is kind of a marquee spot because everyone's watching for free, and if you're gonna get someone to buy it, you know, you're trying to get someone at the last second to change their mind and maybe drop some money. So they put FTR out there. It's not the worst spot in the world, but it would have been nicer if they were on the pre-show. They will be involved in that WWE tag title match later on, as they will just be watching and having a vested interest. But that's it for this one, though. That's it for the pre-show. So 2.5 points so far for the pre-show. Not very exciting, but I'm going to move on to the main show now. All right, the show's starting. So I'm splitting this review up into two. I'm going to do the first part today, run through what happened in the early part of the show, and then I'll come back tomorrow and finish it off because I want to give some of these matches actually some attention. This was a big show. So the stadium is full now. People have poured in. This is how it looked. It looked nice. It looked cool. I gotta say, it's in Texas, Globe Life Field, they call it. So we start off with a trios match. It's the Death Riders, consisting of Claudio, Wheeler, and Gabe Kidd, who is the third guy. I guess he's filling in for Pac, as Pac has been hurt. And they're facing off against the champions, the Ops. So Gabe Kidd is in here. He's had history with Shibata that they've talked about. And here's a little spot with Claudio lifting up and swinging big powerhouse Hobbs into the guardrail. I mean, shit. He's done bigger, but still, I'm not giving any points for that. But still, just Claudio's there. Here's the finish. It's a muscle buster from Samoa Joe onto Wheeler Yuta, and the Ops retain. So the Death Riders, they don't get their titles back. So they could lose everything tonight. They could lose the world title by the end of the night. We shall see, but not a good start for the Death Riders. Afterbirth, though. There is an afterbirth, and it's the Death Riders attacking the Ops, and they cannot accept this loss, and they're going to break Samoa Joe's neck, basically. So they put his neck inside of a steel chair and step on it, and they seemingly put Samoa Joe out. So they've broken his neck. I like that spot at the end. I think for the afterbirth, I'll give a thumbs up. I'll give a point. For the match itself, I didn't really care for it, so nothing for the match. But at least the afterbirth did something for me. I think that's a good spot to have Samoa Joe go home and not come back for a long time, because that's how that looked. Next up, we got a video package for the Casino Gauntlet. Okay, so this is going to be a very in-depth matchup. There's a lot of people in here, so I'm going to try my best to follow what happened and explain to you what happened and give you some thoughts as I go. So here's Mark Briscoe, MJF, the first two guys, storied how their feud has been going. This match has been billed as a feud between them two. But they're starting only at the beginning. So MVP is here. As the match starts, MJF tries to get quick pinfall. So he's trying to finish this off before more people get in there and complicate the match. But Mark Briscoe is just pissed off at him and wants to kill him. So the ref pulls him off. I don't know why. I don't know if there's no DQ. The rules weren't really clear to me. I don't know if there's DQ only for the first two guys or what the hell. I mean, it's a multi-man match. When the second guy comes in or the next guy comes in, it's a three-way. So you would think that means that there's no DQ, but I don't know. MJF showboating, killing time. Why would you do this in a match like this? Because only more and more people will come in the more you kill time. But here's some disrespect by MJF, shoving his balls in Mark Briscoe's face, laughing about it, and the clock shows up and we're ready for a new contestant. It's Ricochet. So Ricochet enters, MJF takes advantage of that, and they actually work together for a minute, and they showboat. But time for another entrant. So wasting time showboating. It's Bandito, all right, who just retained his Ring of Honor title against Takeshita. Here he is, the Ring of Honor World Champion, and MJF and Ricochet are ready for it. Funny spot here, though. MJF tries to shake Ricochet's hand and say, "Let's do it together." And then he gives him an eye poke and runs out of the ring. So he pokes Ricochet in the eyes like, "It's all you, bro." So he just lets them fight. He tries to steal a pin here from Bandito. So he is trying to be opportunistic in this complicated match. Very interesting matchup. Here's another spot. It's Briscoe and MJF. They keep fighting, so that's going to keep coming back, I'm sure. And here's a Ricochet high spot getting flung out of the ring. Got some air on that one. And here's a blockbuster from Mark Briscoe onto MJF. So MJF, he got yelled at by MVP. MVP's trying to tell him, like, "Hey, get up, bro. Don't get off the ground." He's trying to motivate him. Didn't really help him. Didn't really get any help from the Hurt Syndicate either. That was an interesting thing. but they got their own issues tonight. Next up, another entrant. It's Takeshita. So we got a rematch of the night before going between Takeshita and Bandito. That was an interesting spot. But here's where MJF re-enters the match again. So here we go. See what we got coming up. Oh, next up, as MJF gets in the ring to beat up on Bandito, Mystico's music hits. Who MJF has had a really horrible feud with. Ripped off his mask. They had a dramatic match in Mexico where he low blowed him to end the match, didn't care about the match. So MJF knows who it is. The music hits. And this was a funny spot too, because as Mystico comes to the ring and Mystico's music is playing that in Mexico everybody knew the words to. Here he's telling everyone like, yeah, come on, sing. And they pan the camera to the audience and nobody knows the words. Even what's his name? Even MVP was like, man, this ain't Mexico, but I would love to know what Tony Khan's thinking here. Because this was really hilarious comedy to me. Sometimes I think Tony Khan is a really funny guy. What can I say? I'm giving 2 thumbs up for that spot because that was really silly. But okay, Mystico. MVP said that he looked drunk here because he went to the top rope and couldn't keep his balance, but he tried it again. And he does do his top rope spot. It's alright, looking dive. No points for me, though. There's Mystico and MJF in the ring. And there's a move as Mystico takes MJF down for a submission. The crowd popped. Here, as Mark Briscoe joined the submission, so they're both trying to get MJF to tap out here. Mystico and Mark Briscoe are, but Takeshita breaks up the pinfall there. Next up, we got Josh Alexander coming in. MJF is beat. This is a tough match, but Josh Alexander, nice spot here where he placed everyone in a nice row for his Don Callis family member stablemate Takeshita to do an over-the-top rope dive, which looked pretty damn good. So I'm throwing a half point into my all-in review. Next up, Anthony Bowens. Anthony Bowens is in here. The 5'2" player, I guess he is. Next up, we got Roderick Strong. So Roderick Strong. And then we got, who else? Brody King, okay. And Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson returns without a beard. So I don't know. We'll see if he still has that same charisma without the beard. There's a closer look at him. But let's see. We got an interference spot. Okay, someone who's not actually involved in this match. It's the Gates of Agony. So here come the Gates of Agony to try to help Ricochet. So there's no DQ, it seems. They can't do anything about it. The ref can't do anything about it. So Gates of Agony are here to try to help Ricochet steal the win. There's a moonsault from Ricochet off the top rope, but what's his name kicks out. Sorry, Juice Robinson. He looks so different with that freaking... Not only did he shave his beard, he shaved it completely off. But okay, Ricochet's directing traffic with the Gates of Agony when someone's music hits. It's the Guns, so they come in to help their Bullet Club Gold stablemate, or Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson. So Gates of Agony go up the ramp to fight with the Guns, who actually make a cool appearance as Austin Gunn flies up the ramp, steel chair shot from Colton Gunn. I like a good steel chair shot. Cool. So the refs, as the refs are checking on Juice, I don't know why they feel the need to make it look like the ref is distracted so these people who aren't in the match can put a move on Ricochet, because they've already shown that there's no DQ. But regardless, the Guns put a move on Ricochet, and the Guns are willing Juice Robinson to get up and put the pinfall on Ricochet, but MJF breaks up the pin. So good spot here for Juice. Looked like he could pick up the win. MJF in this match, though, it's his match to win. Everyone knows this. And then the Gates of Agony fight off with the Guns. So I'm not even sure if the Guns were really even in that match. I'm not sure. But more contestants. Here comes Ibushi. Here comes the Beast Mortos. Credit to Excalibur here for knowing the name of this Roderick Strong move. The end of heartache, he calls it. That was a good move. I like that. I like how they put that on. That was good work. I gotta put some points on the board. Our all-in review board is looking kind of sparse, so I'm up to 6.5 points. Next up is Max Caster, the best wrestler alive, and he's in there as Anthony Bowens is laying on the floor, his former partner, on the entrance ramp. So he walks over him, and this is the start of the finish. So Anthony Bowens' entrance is the start of the finish as, sorry, not Anthony Bowens, Max Caster. So as Anthony Bowens grabs Max Caster's leg, Roderick Strong knocks Caster off the top rope. So after an exchange between Strong and Briscoe, which was pretty epic, it was a good wrestling exhibition. MJF runs in, throws Briscoe out of the ring, and steals the pin and gets the win. So after all that, MJF wins the match. MVP does a little dance. He's happy for his stable. They got a world title match contract at any time he wants. So there you go. That's like a Money in the Bank, basically. So MJF has got what he came for. And that match, you know what? I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. I think for a gauntlet match, a casino gauntlet match, I think it was one of the better ones I've seen. It was very structured. MJF was a big part of it. There was a good feud leading up to it. So I'm going to say I like that. But I got to move on. Let's see. I'm at a Stokely Hathaway promo backstage. So he just reminds us quickly that they're going to be involved in that tag title match later. I'll review the story when we get there. For right now, I will show the next match, though. So this is that TNT title match. It got ruined by Adam Cole's injury, I guess. So it was supposed to be Adam Cole against Fletcher, as I discussed on the pre-show review. But Adam Cole is here. It looks like he is sad. He actually starts crying. And this is basically his goodbye promo. And he literally cries. So he relinquishes. There's a fan crying, an Undisputed Era fan, I presume. But he hugs the Paragon, the Undisputed Era, and it looks like Adam Cole is done. He relinquishes the TNT title, leaves it in the ring, and they're going to start the match. So Daniel Garcia is the first contestant. He comes out. He's friends with Adam Cole. He gives him a hug, and we start the match. It's Sammy Guevara. Daddy Magic is on commentary. The Natural, Dustin Rhodes. The Protostar, Kyle Fletcher. This was a dead match. Honestly, I think they kind of... There wasn't really any spots that I would have played, but here's the finish. It's Daniel Garcia. He's got Dustin Rhodes in a sharpshooter, but it gets reversed into an inside cradle. So the small package for the win. Everyone is shocked. Fletcher is shocked. Guevara is shocked. Dustin Rhodes is the new TNT champion. So I don't know. Dustin Rhodes has had nothing to do with this TNT title. Just like a Texas thing. I guess he's at home in Texas. So I don't know. I don't think it should have been Dustin Rhodes. I think they could have gone in any number of directions. So I'm indifferent to this. I can't give any points. This was a missed opportunity for AEW here. But I'm moving along. Let's see what we got next as the Sons of Texas celebrate with Dustin Rhodes. Next, we got the match for the EVP status. Okay, so the Young Bucks EVP status is on the line for the Swerve and Strickland duo. For them, any world title shots for the next year is on the line as well. So let's get on with it. This match had a big entrance. So Will Ospreay had a big to-do entrance with a bunch of martial artists who came in, bought lots of fireworks. He's the star of the show. This was a quality matchup, I would say. So they did give it some attention to start off. Swerve had a girl singing for him. Obviously, Prince Nana dancing. That looked cool. Nice entranceway. Cool entrance ramp today for AEW All in Texas, I gotta say. But the Young Bucks, I think they're coming in next, and they walk off the stage. People don't know where they're walking off to, but it turns out they have a ship ready. They're like the founding fathers who came here in a ship. Kind of hokey, but they put on a good match. They put on a really solid match, and they saved a lot of their moves. They don't do them every day like they used to. So that they saved a lot of them for this big show. So the Young Bucks looking good early on, but let's go through some highlights. Here's a spot for Nick Jackson that I'm going to give a half point to. Not bad. Not bad. Let's see what we got next. A smattering of applause for that move from Nick Jackson. So they're not getting much, but this match does have a lot of high spots. This one's going to give me a whole point for Swerve as he got nailed after moonsaulting out of the ring by 2 super kicks. Double super kick. Like that spot. Looked good. Here's another spot that's going to earn a whole point for me for Nick Jackson, or is that Matt Jackson? Sorry. Let me see who that was. Give credit where credit is due. I think that's Nick Jackson. Nice, nice, nice. So, racking up some points on our review today with top rope dives. This is what they're good for, so they better give it to us. This was a spot I liked. Smack talk from Matt Jackson onto Will Ospreay, who was pissed off at that. Can't take that from Matt Jackson. Come on. But here's a spot that's going to give me a half a point, as Prince Nana is going to take a super kick to the face as well. Prince Nana getting involved, finally, in something to do with Swerve Strickland's matches. So here's a dramatic pin breakup. So these are actually interesting, as Will Ospreay is going to get hit with a EVP trigger, and it looks like the end of the match when Swerve Strickland is going to run in and make the save. So dramatic pin breakups is the story here, as we'll see for this tag team match. This was a good tag team match. I'm going to give it a good rating, I think. But here's Ospreay nailing Swerve by accident. Out of nowhere, he goes for the hidden blade and nails his own guy. So obviously, he's mad about that. He might cost his friend this huge matchup. And there's a huge pop for a false finish here, as another EVP trigger, but Ospreay kicks out there. So this was a huge pop. I might as well play the pop, the audio for the pop.
1, 2, 3.
Just to show how into it this crowd was. So the crowd is really getting into it here. This is where the crowd starts to fire up for this show. But here's another false finish for
1, 2, throw out!
Will Ospreay, as Nick Jackson just doesn't know what to do to put these guys away. So they basically hit him with everything they've got, and the crowd is just like oohed and awed that they kick out of everything. So they got to come up with something. So their next idea is to put Ospreay on the ropes and just go to town, super kicking him, and then Swerve dramatically gets up on the ring apron and stands in front of Will Ospreay to take the punishment himself.
You can hear it.
And he takes, sorry about that, let me put the volume down. But this super kick looks good, man. I don't know. To me, I think the work was solid here. I'm giving a thumbs up for the super kick and the work, at least. Swerve fires up though, and a series of moves leads to this double team move onto Nick Jackson, but this was also not enough. So the Young Bucks are tough to beat. They kick out of that one, and there's a lot on the line for them, so they're digging down deep too. Swerve trying to motivate his guy, Ospreay, and then this is the end of the match. It's a hidden blade from Ospreay. Actually, this is not the end of the match. This is another false finish. This is the Young Bucks fighting for their lives as Nick Jackson pushes Swerve into the pin and keeps hope for his team alive. But this directly leads to the finish here, as a reversal and Swerve throws Nick Jackson out of the ring, sorry. And the final move is on Nick Jackson on the outside, and then a double team move on Matt Jackson. So Matt's going to take the pinfall in the ring after a double team move off of Swerve and Ospreay. Jesus. That's the match. All right, so that was tough to explain everything that happened, but that was it. Swerve and Ospreay come out on top. Very dramatic. It sucks for the Young Bucks, but even Taz says, you know what? I feel a little bit bad for the Young Bucks. Only Taz. Taz like, hey man, these are the guys that sign our paycheck. So that was a tough loss for them. Regardless, that's that. My review of the match. I like the match a lot, I will say. I will give the whole match a 2 thumbs up. I'll give it 2 more points on my review system. I thought it was very dramatic. I like the pin breakups and all that. So it was solid. I dug it. I thought this was exciting. This was where the show started heating up to me. So I started having a good time around here, to be honest. All the other stuff that we've talked about today has been bullshit just leading up to this. So anyways, I have to leave for work. I had hoped to get through at least the women's casino gauntlet, which was next, but I guess that's what I'll start the next live stream with tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll go through the rest of All In before Dynamite hits the air, and then we'll be all caught up. So later in the week I'll get to the WWE stuff from this week, starting on Raw and NXT. So I'll wait till like Thursday or Friday to get started on that. I still want to give this past weekend some attention because I think it deserved it. And it was some good stuff, some dramatic stuff. AEW put it all on the line. 7-hour show they put out. So I'm going to give it some attention. All right, that'll be all for today. We'll pick up at 14.5 points tomorrow, right where we left off. So have a good day, and we'll see you on the next one.